In 1952, a map surfaced at the British National Archives. It was drawn on a seemingly ordinary sheet of paper, yet its impact would be anything but. Scholars soon realized they were staring at something extraordinary, the first ever road map of South America. But there was a catch. This map was created over 700 years ago by the Inca, a civilization whose written language was unknown until just decades earlier. How did the Inca draw such a detailed map without a written language? Welcome to my channel. In each episode, we bring you the most amazing stories of human ingenuity, courage and brilliance from history's hidden corners. Today we will uncover how this ancient map was decoded and what it means for our understanding of the Inca Empire. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss this. Now, picture this. It is the year 1912 and an amateur archaeologist named Hiram Bingham is exploring the ruins of an ancient city deep within the Peruvian jungle. As he walks among the crumbling stone structures, he notices strange markings on some of the walls. At first glance, they appear to be nothing more than abstract designs. But upon closer inspection, Bingham realizes that they are actually a series of knotted ropes, each containing a unique pattern of knots along their length. Intrigued, he carefully records the patterns and sets off to unravel their meaning. What Bingham had stumbled upon were the Qhapaq, a traditional Inca method of record keeping using knotted ropes. Each rope represented a different concept or idea, such as the number of people in a certain group or the amount of goods in a storehouse. By counting the number of knots on each rope and the spacing between them, one could decipher the information being conveyed. While Bingham's discovery of the Qhapaq was significant, it wasn't until much later that scholars were able to fully understand their importance in Inca culture and how they played a key role in their ability to create such a detailed road map. As the Inca Empire grew, the need for a way to communicate information quickly and efficiently became increasingly important. The Qhapaq proved to be an effective solution. Their use spread throughout the empire, with different types of Qhapaq being used for record keeping, tax collection, and even storytelling. But the Inca weren't the only ones using knots to convey information. Thousands of years before the Inca developed their own system, the Chinese had invented a similar method known as the sushifu. This system used a series of knotted strings to record everything from taxes to military records. Like the Inca, the Chinese used different types of knots to represent different concepts and ideas. And they also used colors to help distinguish between them. For example, a red knot might represent a tax record, while a blue knot might represent a military record. But unlike the Inca, the Chinese kept detailed written records of their system. These records allow later scholars to decipher the meaning behind the knots and use them to reconstruct important historical documents. Unfortunately, the Inca didn't keep any written records of their Qhapaq system, which made it extremely difficult for scholars to understand how to read them. Without knowing the basic rules of the Inca's knotted communication method, deciphering the information encoded within them seemed like an impossible task. Despite the challenges, scholars were determined to unlock the secrets of the Qhapaq. They began by trying to figure out the Inca's numbering system. After all, it seemed likely that the Qhapaq used a numerical code to represent the various pieces of information, and they recorded. Through trial and error, they discovered that the Inca used a base 10 numbering system, just like the one we use today. However, instead of using digits, the Inca used knots and spaces between knots to represent numbers. Once they figured this out, it was like a key unlocking a door. Suddenly, the Inca's numerical records were making sense. What was once a jumble of random knots now formed a coherent whole, revealing the Inca's clever accounting methods. But numbers were only one piece of the puzzle. The Inca also used the Qhapaq to record other types of information such as names, locations, and even census data. To decode this part of the system, scholars had to turn to another valuable resource: the Spanish conquerors who had overrun the Inca Empire. While the Spanish had obviously destroyed many Inca artifacts and records, they had also taken great interest in the Qhapaq, seeing them as a potential tool for controlling the Inca population. As a result, they wrote extensively about the Incas' knotted records, describing how they worked and what they were used for. This first-hand account provided invaluable insight into the Inca-esque record-keeping methods and helped scholars make sense of the remaining Qhapaq by combining their knowledge of the Incas' numbering system with what they learned from the Spanish accounts. Scholars were able to begin deciphering the rest of the Qhapaq. Slowly but surely, the mystery of the knotted ropes began to unravel, revealing a wealth of information about the Inca Empire. One of the most fascinating examples of Inca record keeping is a set of Qhapaq, known as the Huacarumi Punca Qhapaq. This particular set of knotted ropes is believed to have been used during the reign of Chasqui, one of the most famous Inca rulers. The Huacarumi Punca Qhapaq contains over 700 individual ropes, each representing a different aspect of Inca society. When decoded, they reveal detailed information about the Incas' population, economy, agriculture, and even their religious beliefs. The Huacarumi Punca Qhapaq provides a wealth of information about the Inca Empire, but it also poses a number of interesting questions. For example, it reveals that the Inca kept detailed records of the crops they grew and the animals they raised, indicating a sophisticated understanding of agriculture and animal husbandry. It also shows that they had a complex system of labor organization, with different groups of people responsible for different aspects of the economy. One of the most surprising revelations from the Huacarumi Punca Qhapaq is the Inca-esque use of knotted ropes to record their population. Unlike the Chinese, who used writing to keep records of their citizens, the Inca had no written language and so had to develop a more creative solution. Their census records show that they kept track of individuals and households, and they used the Qhapaq to collect information about things like family size, occupation, and even ethnicity. Deciphering the Qhapaq has given us an unprecedented look into the Inca Empire. These ancient knotted ropes have revealed a complex and sophisticated society that was far more advanced than we previously thought. The Incas' ability to keep detailed records of their population, economy, and agriculture has shed new light on how they managed to build such a vast empire. Without the use of writing, while we may never know exactly how the Inca used all of the different types of Qhapaq, the fragments that have survived offer a fascinating glimpse into one of the most mysterious civilizations in history. And it's not just historians who have benefited from the deciphering of the Qhapaq. By studying the Incas' ingenious system of record keeping, experts in fields like anthropology and archaeology have gained a deeper understanding of Inca culture. The insights gleaned from the Qhapaq have helped researchers learn more about Inca religion, art, architecture, and daily life. And perhaps most importantly, the Inca-esque ability to keep detailed records of their population has helped scientists better understand the impact of the Spanish conquest. One of the most tragic aspects of the Inca Empire's story is the devastating impact that the Spanish conquest had on their population. The Inca had a relatively high population density, with some estimates suggesting that there were as many as 10 million people living in the empire at its peak. But after the Spanish arrived, diseases brought over by the Europeans devastated the Inca population, leading to a massive decline in numbers. By the mid-16th century, the Inca population had declined by an estimated 90%. The Qhapaq have provided valuable insights into the scale and scope of this decline. By comparing the Incas' pre-conquest population records with those taken after the Spanish arrival, researchers have been able to estimate the impact of the conquistadors and the diseases they brought with them. The Inca-esque use of Qhapaq to keep track of their population has also helped scientists understand the demographic changes that occurred within the empire. As the Inca grew and expanded, their population changed in terms of both size and composition. The empire was home to a diverse range of people from different ethnic groups and with different ways of life. But despite these differences, the Inca were able to keep track of everyone through their ingenious system of knotted ropes. By studying the Qhapaq, researchers have been able to learn more about the Inca's population dynamics and the factors that contributed to their success as a civilization. Thanks to the Inca's detailed records, we have a better understanding of one of the most significant events in world history. Can you imagine a world without computers or the internet, without touring? That might have been our reality. If you enjoyed this glimpse into history's hidden heroes, hit subscribe for more untold stories that shape our world. See you next time.